Join Joe, John, and Jim as they discuss the biggest stories in the world of
You
sports.
put them all together, it makes a nice package, right?
Get ready.
For passionate and intelligent conversation about the biggest issues and personalities in sports.
It's unscripted.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Some people call him dirty. I like to call him creative.
It's unfiltered.
I'm going to need another beer soon.
And I said, well, hold, you're making my point, right?
My thoughts are I'm going to call my therapist after the show is what I'm going to do.
What's up, Bean Apple fans? Welcome back to week 16 already. It's almost over.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Got John here in his outstanding Christmas attire.
Apparently, I'm going to win the ugly sweater contest between us this week. I like it.
I think you got it. And then Jim in his ever-present Giants jersey. Welcome back, guys. Week 16. Man, so we can only hope this week goes a little better than last week, because
That would be nice.
I can't take another one of those. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. How's your week going?
Excellent. My last day of work is today, minus some having to go in and clean up some stuff as needed. But for the rest of the year, I am not scheduled to be at work, so it's fantastic.
That's
for the rest of the year. Good for you. Good for you.
January 4th, I go back. That's
Wow.
nice.
That's
my next day. I'll have to go in here or there, but a couple hours here. It's awesome. I work for a great place.
nice.
That's
nice.
pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Christmas shopping done?
My last thing got here today, and it's funny. So it should have been here 4 days ago. It started out in New Jersey. That's when I knew I was going to have problems. Started out in New Jersey from Amazon, went to Mass, came to South Berwick. I live in Berwick. That's 15 minutes away. Went to New Hampshire, went back to South Berwick, went to Massachusetts, stayed there for 3 days, and I finally got it today. That was my last one. So basically somebody lost it, and it was probably in Berwick the whole time.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. How about you guys?
Unbelievable.
I don't know. I mean, I think stuff just keeps showing up every day. So I have absolutely no idea when it's going to end. I've got my wife ordered this giant crafting table for her room that just randomly showed up today. So now I started assembling it, and the downstairs is just pieces of wood everywhere and cardboard and foam, and it's a disaster. So I had to call time out, come up here, talk to you guys about football, regain my sanity, because, God. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So on the docket, right, we've got one game left that matters, I think, with the Giants.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that, Joe, because we can still, cause a little bit of ruckus here, my friend. Yeah. Just because we're not playing for the playoffs. I mean, New England's playing Buffalo this week. Jets are playing the Browns, right? So we can still cause some havoc. Ruffle some feathers, as we should say, and the Giants are playing Baltimore. So Cleveland and Baltimore, I mean, these are must-win games for them as well as the Giants. Buffalo, they get the number 2 seed now, so I'm sure they want to hold on to that.
Oh, yeah.
With Pittsburgh getting crushed the other night by Cincy. Sweet Moses.
Justin, congratulations.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't
your
think
brother.
he was too thrilled. I think he bet the farm on Pittsburgh to cover, and they didn't. But that's okay. He has the funds to do that, so he's okay.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about that is that was kind of the nice thing is they could win that game, and it doesn't change their draft pick at all. It was just icing on the cake for the Bengals. Right. They got to destroy the Steelers on national TV, and they still have the same draft pick they had going into the game. The only nice thing now is the Jets have the 1 or 2. They cannot fall further than that with that win, which is outstanding. Now that the Bengals have 3.5 wins with 2 weeks left. So we're picking 1 or 2. I have got to be the biggest Bears hater this week ever. So I am rooting for Jacksonville with all my heart. But we'll see what happens. I mean, if the Jets could beat the Rams, the Bengals could beat the Steelers, why can't Jacksonville beat the Bears?
Jacksonville's
Right?
going to win this week. They're going to win this week.
Oh,
they're going to win this week. It's going to be great. It's going to be great for the following week. Oh my God, it's a perfect storybook. It's perfect. Jacksonville wins this week. Jets
beat New England again.
100%. Bet the house on it.
If Jacksonville wins this week, what do you think the odds are that Adam Gase is fired? Like soon as Jacksonville pulls it off, the Jets lose, you're going to see Adam Gase relieved of duty. Like you have to. If you're Joe Douglas, it's time to go, buddy. Like don't even make a coach. Just let the guys go out there and figure it out the last game.
Right. In reality, if that does happen, they can't let Darnold play the last game.
No,
they have to sit him. Make him inactive.
Absolutely.
He can't even get on the field. That's it. Because he wants to win, right?
Oh, yeah.
And let whoever's your backup in. And
well, that's
job
bad
security,
though.
man. Job security.
That's Joe Flacco though. That could be bad.
Yeah, you probably don't want Flacco in. I mean, Flacco played really well against New England the first time. I mean, what did we win? 27-20, I want to say, or was it even that close?
It was a close game.
Here, hold on. Let me see something. No, 30-27. My bad.
Wow.
So, I mean, that was a close game. Flacco kind of shredded us. So, you probably don't want Flacco in, but I think Darnold, for job security, of course he wants to go out and win these last 2 weeks. Of course he does.
Yeah. You put your number 4 in there, Ryan Finley, and see what he can do.
Anybody. The Jets should never try and win again.
Well, you've got the guy you drafted in James Morgan.
Yeah,
so
let him play.
Why not throw him in there and watch he plays out of his mind.
He's going to do what Ryan Finley did against Pittsburgh.
And then they won't have to draft a quarterback. Then it doesn't matter where they're drafting. They get Darnold, him, and Flacco next year with a quarterback.
Yeah, scary thoughts. But well, let's talk about the Giants. I don't know. Somebody's cheering us, but does anybody?
Who's got
does
cheers
anybody
there?
know how to speak Japanese?
I don't know. I don't know how to say that, but we appreciate you.
Yeah, cheers.
I have a few friends over in Japan, but I'm not too sure who that is. But hopefully we can figure that out before we close off today.
I never learned the alphabet there to learn what those symbols equate to. I don't know how to read that.
I was there for 4 years, and I picked up some of the language, some of the lingo, but could never spell it. You know, I mean, I never learned their version of the alphabet or nothing like that.
Isn't it a right to left also? Isn't it? They read backwards.
Yeah, like the magazines, they all read from back to front. Yep.
Wow.
So
yeah, I'm not there.
Huh?
It said I'm not there yet. It's going to take me a couple more years.
Yep. So Giants going to Baltimore, right? So 5-9 versus 9-5. So predictions are 80% for Baltimore, right? Which, beginning of the year, and I think there's a clip maybe of me saying something about the Ravens, but beginning of the year, I wasn't as worried. And then they went through that whole COVID mess. And now post-COVID, I don't know what happened, but they are playing the best football they've played all year now. So Lamar's playing, and you watch what they've been doing the last couple of weeks, and now they're finally dangerous. Maybe looking like they were last year, but there were a couple of things that jumped out at me that I was surprised to see. So Jones has on the year 2,462 yards passing, and Lamar has 2,461. Jones has one more yard passing than Lamar. Both of them missed a little bit of time. And then you look at Slayton. Slayton has 703 receiving, and so does Brown, 703. I mean, so there are some similarities. 17 points a game the Giants end up scoring. Baltimore's at 28, but Giants give up 22 to 20. So we'll see which team shows up here. Yards allowed, 366 to 360. But the reality of it is, that's what John's waiting for. Giants are on a 2-game losing streak. Ravens are on a 3-game winning streak, right? So they're playing at a bad time here. We do get Frackrell back from the IR. He was on there, and Bradbury comes back this week. He's reactivated, but I still haven't heard who the quarterback is. I don't think they've come out and said it. Jones is still questionable. I don't know if he's starting. I haven't heard them say anything yet. I don't even know if he's practicing. I don't know where he's at. But, this is it, right? We got this week and next week. You got Washington playing the Panthers and Haskins down there. I don't know if you saw what happened there, but he got fined $40,000 and,
I didn't see the fine. Wow.
Oh,
really? It was 4,000. Was it 4,000?
40,000.
Oh, it was 40. Okay.
Which is still nothing for him, right?
Right.
But 40,000, he violated the protocol twice now. He's at a birthday party for his girlfriend with strippers. So who has birthday parties for their girlfriend and bring strippers and maskless and people take pictures of you and now you're in trouble with the team? So good for him.
Seems like good decisions all around.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, now the 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks are also taking snaps this week. So hopefully the Panthers beat whoever quarterbacks for Washington, because it doesn't look like it's going to be Alex Smith. Hey, Jacob. So it don't look like it's going to be Alex Smith. So I'm hoping the Panthers, even though they're not McCaffrey, beat Washington to keep us tight in that NFC East, because it's really going to come down to the last week, right? I mean, Philly and Dallas are playing, but week 17, all 4 NFC teams play each other, and they all play at 1 o'clock. I mean, so that is, and it could be whoever wins. I mean, yeah, you're right. The Giants
sure do.
Not doing
Jacob,
very well.
I like you already.
Right. So that last week of the season's really this week is going to really line that up. It's going to be the foundation for week 17. But next week is going to be really interesting to see. But, to me, the only way we're 11-point dogs going in, right? The only way we could do anything is make Lamar beat us with his arm, right? We got to load up the box. We got to Blake Martinez got to be spying him the whole time. Martinez got to be spying him. Fackrell comes back. I mean, they got to have a bird dog on Lamar the whole time, right? And shut down his run game and make him throw it, because when he's rattled like Baker, he's off his target. He's throwing wild. He could throw some INTs up. And that's the only chance we're going to have in my mind. Like I said, I don't know if Colt or Jones is quarterbacking this week, but
getting Bradbury back is not going to hurt either.
Right.
So.
Bradbury and, like I said, Fackrell, so the defense comes back together a little bit more. And I still like the defense. The defense still plays well. But really, to me, that's the only way we're going to have a chance is you got to contain Lamar. You got to maybe have him cough it up, knock the ball out of his hands when he's trying to scramble, and make him throw a couple balls up for grabs. I mean, that's really the defense really has to, and that's why I got my Strahan jersey on. The defense really has to pull us through this game for us to have a chance.
So, here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Baltimore put up some serious points the last 3 weeks. You're right. They're averaging 28 for the year. They're averaging over 40 the last 3 weeks. Jacksonville, Dallas, and Cleveland. Not the greatest defenses. Cleveland actually has a pretty decent D, but not that powerful D. Yeah. But what the Ravens have started to do is run the ball really well. What they do? Put up 230 against Cleveland, 160 or 170 against Jacksonville, and Dallas they were like 2-something. Mm-hmm. So you're right. The passing yards aren't there, but Baltimore's strong point is not passing. Right. It's their running game. It opens up lanes for Lamar, and Andrews is starting to come alive too now. So now you get a couple of hefty receivers with Brown and Andrews. Of course, Andrews is tight end. You got J.K. Dobbins starting to run the ball pretty well. Lamar's starting to run the ball again. If they can get Ingram back healthy, I don't know. I think that'd be interesting. But Gus Edwards, I mean, what did he get? 139 a couple weeks ago? Merry Christmas, Middleborough. Mm-hmm. So Baltimore is starting to hit their stride at the right time. They really are, and I don't know if it's the COVID that kind of helped them with that. I mean, God, Des Bryant caught a touchdown last week, God, for the first time ever. So it's just insane. You know what I mean?
I think he's questionable again now.
He is. But they're getting everybody involved, and that's what they have to do. But it starts with the Baltimore running game. It starts with their D, followed on by their D, and Lamar is looking scary again. This is why I picked Baltimore and Tampa to go in the Super Bowl. Luckily, both teams are still in it. Like I didn't say like the Patriots and the Falcons is some stupid bullshit, but Baltimore looks scary, and that division's wide open now with the Steelers losing again. They're right up on Cleveland. I think Cleveland got the tiebreaker right now. I just don't see, the Giants' offense the last 3 weeks, boy, they just don't look good. And Jim, I'll tell you what, when you said a couple weeks ago that Jones should sit, he probably should have. That probably set him back a couple weeks. It really did.
Yeah.
Take the loss then and then kind of move on. I ended up taking the loss anyways with him playing. I just don't see the firepower, especially if Colt McCoy plays again. I mean, it's going to have to be like old school Giants football where O.J. Anderson's going to carry the ball for 35 times. You know what I mean? And maybe hit Navarro a couple times. But with Baltimore scoring 40 plus, are they going to do that against the Giants? I don't know, but I think the Ravens just going to outshoot them. I really do. I think they're going to outscore them.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I mean, it's going to be tough to hold them up, but that's really the only chance we're going to have because McCoy can move the ball up and down the field, but for whatever reason, we don't get in the end zone, right? I mean, last week we got 2 field goals, and he does move the sticks, but there's no big play, there's no money play, there's no, and part of that I think is on Garrett. I think Garrett is, I wasn't happy about him coming over here from Dallas because he couldn't win there either. So him calling the plays to me is not the answer, and maybe he'll be on the hot seat. We just lost our linebacker coach. Went to Illinois as the head coach this week and left. So now Jesse Armstead came down. He was working upstairs, and now he's going to be down on the sidelines coaching them. So we'll see if that does anything different there. But the defense, their specialty has been the run, right? The run defense. That's where they're at their best, and that's what we got to do this week. I mean, we got to stop the run, whether it's JK or it's Ingram's number 4 on their chart now. So I don't know. I had this guy in my pool. Whatever, he's not doing anything, but
he must be hurt. I mean, there has to be something lingering because
he's not right. No,
I mean, the last couple of years when he played for New Orleans and he came over to Baltimore, he's just been an absolute beast. And I mean, I just can't see how he fell off that quick down the depth chart because of play. I think it's probably more health than anything. But I'd love to see a healthy Ingram.
I'm sure they would too.
Yeah. And you're right. I don't think you're going to see the Mark Ingram of last year or the year before.
No, he just disappeared.
Yeah. And with the Browns playing the Jets, right? The Ravens have to play hard. They got to get the win, right? If they want to stay in contention with the Browns. Yeah. But this year's been crazy. You see what's been happening every week. I mean, it's just you don't know the teams that you think. Our other hope is they're looking past the Giants, right? Which I don't think they will. They're playing at home in Baltimore, which is right down the turnpike. But yeah, it's going to rely on the defense, no doubt.
Yeah, and that AFC North is getting awfully interesting with the Steelers completely falling apart the last 3 weeks. I mean, you got the Browns there 1 game behind. Baltimore's 2 games behind with 2 weeks left. I mean, a lot of things can happen, but I mean, we'll definitely see. I mean, the Ravens have looked on fire, John, like you said, but that is an interesting question of what happened to Mark Ingram. He's turned into like a Where's Waldo type of thing. Like you just can't. I haven't seen him. Nothing. How do you go from the dominance that he's had last year to just not playing at all? And it's not even J.K. Dobbins taking over. It's because that was kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. Was Ingram would start the year, Dobbins would kind of come in and then eventually overtake him, but he's just gone, and it's just it's a switch. It's a split between Dobbins and Gus Edwards, which is weird that you would think Gus Edwards would have leapfrogged Ingram so quickly. Very, very strange. Something, like you said, something's going on there.
It's not right.
It just seems so weird that, I mean, the monster year that he had last year and even the year before, when he teamed up with Kamara in New Orleans, and now, I mean, now he's like a has-been. And Shaney, I think you're right. I think he is done in Baltimore, but why? Was it health? Was it – I agree he's quicker, but my God, you feed Ingram the ball at 3rd and 1, 4th and 2, he's getting 4 for you. He's going to push the line around, and he's not even in on those plays. So, I mean, it's not even like he's in situational circumstances where he excels at. He's never playing. I agree. He is very one-dimensional, but he's not even in on those plays. That's what's weird.
No, he's not on anything. I mean, his projections every week are like 0.6, 1.4. It's like just cut him. I mean, what do you even have him on the team for? But he's not planning on doing anything. But like you said with Pittsburgh, it's really unbelievable how they went from undefeated, right, to a 3-game losing streak now. And you watched the game the other night against the Bengals. Never did I think they're going to come back. I mean, they were just lifeless out there. Ben has nothing. It's unbelievable how bad they can look. And I mean, they had what's his name? Who's the running back there?
Snell.
Benny Snell.
Yeah, Benny Snell. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just using him like a workhorse, running. But I mean, it just looked like Cincinnati had them the whole time, and I don't think it was because they were looking past Cincinnati, because it was the 4th string when Finley ran around and like 20 yards at the end of the game, ran it in. Nobody was even close to him. I mean, they just looked horrible. And I mean,
like the Rams last week, just out of place all the time, a step behind. Their coverage on those receivers too. I mean, Juju, Deontay Washington, Claypool,
killed.
Everyone was covered. Nobody like Claypool had one big, but he have like a 30, 40 yard down the sideline.
Yeah.
But like outside of that
nothing.
The corners were knocking balls out of their hands, and they couldn't come down with any deep shots. And I mean, Ben just looked old and slow, and I mean, I don't think they're going to make it far at all. I mean, if the first round they probably get knocked out because they don't have a complete team, they don't have a running back. I mean, they're using Benny. I mean, Connor's been, I guess, on COVID again or whatever he's got, but to me, they do not look like a strong team.
No, John nailed it there. Steelers are they look like they're playing like they exhausted themselves early on, because they are complete opposite of the beginning of this year. They would look like an absolute dominant team. The defense was just gangbusters. John,
gangbusters.
Man, I mean, they were everywhere. I mean, you were hyping up how great of a play or trade Fitzpatrick was for them, and how he was playing out of his mind on the defense. The whole defense looked incredible. Ben was making great throws. Claypool looked unstoppable. And now it's like they all just quit. It's
well, and watching that game, if you looked where Cincinnati scored, man, they had short fields the whole game. I mean, every short field they had, they capitalized on. To me, no run game. Shaney, I agree with you. And Muck, the Steelers are on empty, but I think it's more their offense. They got no running game. Big Ben just looks like he's hurt out there or something. Something doesn't look right. Maybe it's because he's 38 and it's week 16. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's catching up to him. I know he said early in the week he wants to come back for another year. He may want to rethink that. I mean, they have the weapons. Weapons is not a problem. It's their running game. They need Connor back, and Connor wasn't playing that great even before, but Snell is not the guy. You know, they're going to stop pulling waiver wire friggin' running backs out to plug them in. But, I mean, the defense is still good. It's just they had short fields. I mean, it's hard to stop a team going 30 yards, 3 or 4 times. And granted, it's the Bengals, but my God, that whole team. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but that hit on Juju, I don't know how he got up. Me and Shaney were texting back and forth. I'm like, I'd be dead right now. I mean,
what about that hit on Finley?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was like 3 guys coming in from all different
directions.
They took a shot right to the head, and I can't believe he got up from that. Like,
but how many times did he look like? I thought he had a concussion at least twice that game.
Yeah.
He probably did.
You probably did is right. I mean, he 4th string guy. The guy's running all over the place, getting hit. He's not sliding. He's getting slammed on every play. They're helping him up. He's kind of dinged up. His helmet's crooked. It's like, hey, man, can you take a knee? What are you doing? Are you trying to get the victory, or are you trying to get killed?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was going to bring that hit up. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
His head was all bent over, and
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And I think Snell's a good running back. He's just not a number one. He needs to complement somebody. And it looks like we got Trevor Simmons here. Trevor Lawrence Simmons here to the show. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry.
No, I'm glad Travis is here so we can root on the Jaguars and their upset. He's a little late for that, but yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. But it's going to happen this week.
I did not root for that. Trevor Lawrence Simmons. I don't want him in the AFCs.
The Jets took down the Rams, the Bengals took down the Steelers, and now the Jacksonville Jaguars will take down the Chicago Bears. Upset City. And then, like Jim said, the Patriots will lose to the Jets the last week.
Trubisky's trying to this is Trubisky trying to get a contract next year. I mean, it really is. He needs to keep winning. So they didn't pick up his his fifth-year option, as they shouldn't, and he's actually playing pretty well right now. They really are. Yeah,
he's going to have to sign a prove-it contract, though.
Absolutely.
And
I'm sure he'd be fine with that. What's that, $10 million, $12 million? That's good money.
Yeah.
He'll throw 3 interceptions this week. They lose. And listen, in a couple of years, in probably 3 years, there'll be a 30 for 30 on ESPN about this whole season, how it ends up, and the Jets lose at the end. And they'll interview Belichick, and he'll be laughing all the way home.
While he's eating a Subway sandwich with his sleeves cut off. It's still weird to watch. I don't like him doing it.
It is bizarre. It is bizarre.
He'll be on his boat, cruising out. Yep. And what's he got? A boat down the Keys, right?
I think down the Cape, too. Doesn't he have a house in the Cape, I'm sure?
I remember seeing something where he was out on a boat in, like, the Florida Keys, just cruising, like, why would you not? But, he leaves his little Shiba Inu to run the draft for him while he's gone.
It wouldn't be something, too. He does that, and as soon as the game goes to all zeros and the Jets win, he just resigns. Says, okay, my job here is done.
Right. You're welcome, Patriots fans, and just leaves.
Yep.
Now you only have to deal with Tua and Allen instead.
I agree, Shane. Tank for Trevor to go to Jacksonville. I agree.
I don't know, but
of course Adam Gase is doing that. He's going to get. I guarantee he signs somehow with Jacksonville next year. They're going to be like, "Hey, thanks, man. We'll give you a job."
They got a deal in place already. They got a handshake deal right on the napkin. Yeah,
he can be the assistant to the regional manager.
John, you talked about it. Was it last week about Zach Wilson from BYU?
Yeah.
Did you watch or see the stats from the bowl game yesterday?
I didn't.
He was very, very impressive. I know you've talked about him a couple times. I haven't gotten too deep into the weeds because I really thought we had Trevor Lawrence locked up. So I wasn't even bothering looking at these other guys. But I think he is looking really good. And I was reading an article on ESPN where they were comparing him this year to because this is his sophomore year, right?
I thought it was in year 3, but I could be wrong.
Whatever it is, whatever the equivalent. So from year 2 then to year 3 for Joe Burrow compared to his, and he's better across the board. All of his numbers are better across the board than Joe Burrow from 2 to 3, which is saying something right there, right? I think the only thing he's worse at, which is kind of a big deal, is the intermediate routes. His accuracy is lower there, but everything else, he's got better numbers everywhere.
I would say competition too, because you look at, Joe Burrow played in the SEC, so that was a little bit tougher, I think, conference than the were they in the WAC, the WAC, right? The Western Athletic Conference. Johnny Muck, help me out there. BYU WAC, right, brother? But yeah, I mean, I watched him play early in the year, and he looked pretty good. And it was, like I said, they updated that mock draft pretty damn quick after the Jets lost that night, and they had him going there. And I pulled up another one, and this one had Fields. It was updated 2 hours ago. I'm trying to find the most recent one to the show, and they got him taking Fields now. But
I would say unless Fields just balls out in the playoffs, he's going to fall to at least the 3rd quarterback picked, if not more than that, because he hasn't been
independent. Thank you, Johnny.
He hasn't been dominant, and he's been very up and down, which is not what you want. And when has Ohio State produced a quarterback that's worth shit? I don't know if there's a lot of. I mean, if John there is a big college guy, maybe he knows.
Oh, he's a great college guy.
I don't know college well enough to speak on it, but Ohio State doesn't produce quarterbacks.
No, Terrell Pryor was the last big name to kind of
wide
come out
receiver
of there
for the Browns and the Jets,
and he got and I don't even think he was given a chance to play quarterback at all.
No, he was drafted as a wide receiver and had to convert to it. So, yeah, they're just you take that with what you will. But I mean, Josh Allen came out of North Dakota State, so it's not like his competition was that great.
Wyoming.
Is he Wyoming? Trey Lance is North Dakota State. Right?
Trey Lance. Yeah.
Wyoming. You could imagine what the talent or the competition was like for Josh Allen, but
very true.
Doesn't seem to have bothered him too much not playing in the SEC. So, it's going to be interesting. But he looked very good. Some of those throws he was making, I mean, just the placement was perfect, absolutely perfect. 25, 30 yards downfield and just dropped it perfectly. And it wasn't like a rainbow throw. It was a dart, and he led him perfectly. I was like, wow. I mean, he looked good. Go back, check it out. But yeah, Fields doesn't go crazy in the playoffs and do anything. He's gonna jump to number 2 for sure. But yeah, anyway, let's Giants here, right? So
I've already gave my prediction. I'm taking Ravens because they're going to score a bunch.
Okay, so what's your final?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're averaging 40. I'll give them, let's go 30, 38, 38-21 with a garbage touchdown at the end. Colt McCoy to Slayton because he's going to produce now that I haven't been in fantasy relevance for 3 weeks. So now he's going to produce.
Okay. I don't think it's going to be that high. I think the Giants defense is going to come to play because this is that type of game where people have kind of given up on the Giants, and now they're going to step up that defense, and especially with Bradbury back, I think it's going to be a big boost to them. I still think Lamar is playing too well right now to lose this game. I think it's going to be a 24-17 final Ravens. But it's going to be a lot closer than some of these 34-17 spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I said 38-21, so 17. Yeah. Actually, Shane, I'll tell you what, we're spot on. We're both picking them to lose by 17.
Well, they're 11-point underdogs as we sit today. So right. you guys are seeing it spread a little bit wider than that. So
yeah, the last time there was a 17-point spread, what happened?
Yeah, the Jets won.
The Jets won. Yeah.
We're just picking them though. We don't call the numbers for Vegas. We're not that good yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's speak on the Jets with another big game coming up against the Browns, which I think is
What?
So I thought the Rams weren't going to be an issue. I don't think the Browns are going to be an issue, but God knows what's going to happen. But yeah, I think you're not going to have a Browns team that's looking past the Jets at this point, not after they went and knocked off the Rams. So I don't think this is going to be one of those games that sneaks up on them. They know that the Jets can now beat one of the best teams in the league with the Rams. They're not going to be taking them lightly. And with the loss to the Bengals, I mean, the Jets will score on the opening drive.
Yeah,
but,
they get 3.
But yeah, I think they're going to go. They're going to go full bore on the Jets on this one. They're going to try and win the AFC North and knock the Steelers off while they're in trouble right now. And it should be pretty one-sided. I thought that about the Rams too. So I should be careful with that. But the Jets are 9.5-point underdogs in this one, which seems like Vegas is kind of trying to trying to taper the odds there a little bit, I guess. But they're actually giving them a 28% chance of winning this game, which I would not have expected to even be that high. Like more than a quarter is kind of weird for this one, especially you got Jamison Crowder, who's questionable. You've got Quinnen Williams, who is now out for the year, the best defensive player left on the team. Without getting pressure on Baker or being able to stop the run, which he has been outstanding at, extremely underrated. He has been playing amazing. This is a Browns team that can run the ball. Like, John, you talked about it with Chubb and Hunt. And you don't have Quinn in there to stop that run at all, my God. I mean, just plug both of those running backs into a DraftKings lineup and let them go, because it's going to be insane. They're rushing, averaging 152 yards a game right now for the Browns, so that's insane. And the Jets, it's not going to happen. They ruined it. They did enough. I think, the whole thing is in a shitty situation, but
once you taste that champagne, you
man.
want some more champagne, right? They're hot right now. Vegas is playing a hot hand.
Yeah.
They didn't realize how good it tastes when you win, so don't count them out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't. They proved that one last week, but man, these guys are going to be hungry for it. And, obviously Sam's going to want to win another game to kind of guarantee he's back next year and doesn't get traded away to back somebody up or whatnot. He's keeping a starting job, which he needs to do, right? But and that all, but guarantees he's at least starting for the Jets next year as we stand right now. I can't. I was kind of put a poll out on Twitter asking the question on what the Jets should do if they end up with the number 2 pick, take a quarterback, draft an offensive lineman, or trade back. And the offensive lineman won the poll.
I mean, why wouldn't you with Becton there? I mean, honestly, why wouldn't you?
It would be, that would be an offensive line that would be hard to deal with. If you've got Mekhi Becton on one side and you've got Swell on the other, man.
I would too. I would too.
That would be the ultimate Gase move right there.
Mm-hmm.
Trade him to the Patriots right before he gets fired. And, oh God, that would be terrible. But yeah, I mean, it's that would be interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I would rather, if it's me, I would rather trade back a couple picks, give up the number 2, let somebody come in and get a quarterback, especially if Zach Wilson keeps rising and Fields plays good, and you've got 2 quarterbacks that are fighting, that are looking really good. Somebody's going to want to come up and get one of them. So if you can do that and you can move back and stay within the top 10 and say you get – I still want to get either Chase or Pitts. If you're gonna compete, if you're gonna go with Sam, give him some weapons. Give him something elite that could do something, like Perriman, Crowder, Herndon, Mims. These guys, nobody's elite. Mims might be pretty good, but if you could get Chase or Pitts and really give him a weapon, maybe 2 weapons in the first round, why would you not do that? I think that's the move. If not, if you're done with him, then grab a quarterback and live with watching Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville while you hope to God you picked right. I mean, that's kind of where it's at. Luckily, I've come to peace with the situation that we're in. I don't know if Travis is still here, but he's living the high life. I lived it for 14 weeks, but all good things come to an end, especially as a Jets fan, much sooner before than later. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't know what to do, but I think the right move now, I think, is trade back and just start getting weapons. And if Sam shows nothing, there he is.
I would go O-line, and then with their next pick, take the running back from Clemson.
Yeah,
I mean, you need a running back. You need a running back. Gore's not going to run forever. I mean, I don't know what quarterbacks are free agents this year. I don't know, but I mean, you can always take a chance there. But I mean, draft another O-lineman. You got a book in there. You got a running back. I mean, that's not a bad draft. You're not getting Trevor Lawrence, but you know what? He's going to look good in that that kind of tealish blue that they got up there in Jacksonville. He's going to look really good with the locks kind of coming out of the helmet a little bit. Maybe he'll put in a little ponytail. I don't know. Maybe a man bun. But you'll have your offensive lineman and a running back.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I don't think that would be a bad. And then you turn it around right at what, 33 or 34 now. I mean, you got 3 picks in the top 34. Man, that's not too shabby, man. If you can go O-line, running back, and then maybe do like a pass rusher, which I don't know how deep the field is this year with pass rushing, or a wide receiver. Still going to be tons of skills players out there. So,
it's it's tough. I don't think there's a lot of edge guys.
I don't think it's too deep this year. Yeah,
it's pretty low. But yeah, I mean, there are good wide receivers coming out. So,
or just take the best player on the board, because you're right, they need everybody. So it doesn't matter if they draft a safety at 34. It doesn't matter if they draft a tight end. The best player on the board, take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, somebody's going to fall.
Of course.
You see it every year. Day one ends, and they're like, "How is X, Y, and Z guy still sitting there? I can't believe." Last year was T. Higgins. Like, how is T. Higgins still sitting there when he was supposed to go in the top 15? One of the top guys to go. I think he was like the number 4 wide receiver.
Yeah.
In that class, and Rager went before him, and a couple other guys, and it's just like, okay, thank you.
That turned out for everybody too.
Yeah, Cincinnati is pretty happy with what they've gotten there. So yeah, something good's going to fall there as well. So I don't mind that at all. It worked out great for the Jets, back in the day when they took DeBrickshaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold both in the first round, and that worked out pretty nice. Especially you could ask Thomas Jones how he enjoyed running behind that O-line. He did pretty good, and that helped us get to those AFC championships, no doubt. And you could put a less than stellar quarterback behind an offensive line like that, and it makes them better, right? Because they have more time, and you've got really smart. Especially if you got a good center, because they can control a lot of what's going on. So, very interesting.
So maybe that's the play then. Leave Sam there and just fill the rest of the holes.
But you've only got him for one more year, and then what?
He's still young though.
Right?
He is. He's only 23 years old, and that was kind of the upside play with Sam. As you were drafting him, this is year 3. He's 20. You drafted him when he was 20 years old. If he could turn out to be great, I mean, he's still got 15 years to play. I mean, that's nice, but yeah, you're really, without Trevor Lawrence, you're rolling the dice, and I don't know. But
I think Cleveland's going to kick the shit out of the Jets. I think.
Do you think 9.5 points is fair for Cleveland?
Yeah, because honestly, I was going to say like 34-24 with some garbage touchdown or something like that. Cleveland's D isn't the greatest, but like Shanny said earlier, Baker Mayfield has not turned the ball over like he has in years past. He's
Which I'm sure
running into it. What's that?
Which I'm sure you love.
I hate it, man. I hate it. I love when he turns. I hate him. I absolutely hate Mayfield. But he's playing decent this year.
Only 8 interceptions.
I know. That's 25 for 8, thrown for over 3,000 finally. He's not going to kill you with the pass, but it's going to be Hunt and Chubb, and they're just going to me, control that game. But, I don't see it being too bad of a blowout, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question is going to be, can the Jets put pressure on Baker or not? Because that's the only way the kid turns the ball over.
But they did last week,
Huh?
They did last week against the Rams. They kind of got to Goff, They put pressure on Goff.
If they put pressure on Baker, he could cough it up. He could throw it up, and that's when he's erratic and his percentage goes way down. So that's going to be the key. But if they can't get to him, then he's going to pick them apart.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, because once, like, Quentin Williams left in the fourth quarter of that game, and after that, they didn't get pressure on Goff. Goff just played like shit.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week with him, 3rd and 4, and he couldn't get a first down because he's chucking it 20 yards downfield instead of just picking the team apart. So that was definitely tough, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it this week. God damn it! I hate that.
Wow, we got some cheering going on. All kinds of stuff happening now.
So now what we can do, we can talk about really the best team, because the Pats actually have the best record amongst all of us, if you think about it.
Isn't that unbelievable?
We still have the best record. So this is what I want to see this week. Hey, I love puppies, man. I get a smile at it. I love dogs. It's no big deal. Mark, you're probably right. Lawrence is the only player ready to go. Here's my guess on. Well, here's what I would like to see with New England this week. Do something different that you haven't done.
Mhm.
Start Stidham. Go to like a shotgun formation from the start. Play no huddle. I mean, there's so much tape on our vanilla offense that it's going to be easy to stop. You know what I mean? And Buffalo is no joke. Buffalo is. I wasn't high on him, boy, but I'll tell you what. Allen is just what an accurate quarterback now, and they kind of broke down his throwing motion last game, and I think it's Jesse Palmer was working with him in the offseason, getting him to open up his hips and follow through and push off, and he's doing everything he was kind of told to do. So we're going to need to get pressure on Buffalo. I do something different. Why start Cam? Let's see what Stidham can do. Buffalo has the number 2 slot right now, so they're still playing for something. They still want to keep that position. Let's see what Stidham can do against a team that's hungry, a team that again is trying to win, not against the Jets that who knows, by then maybe they're all going to turn it off. I don't know, but I'd love to see Stidham against Buffalo this week, because I think we should have seen him a couple weeks ago. But I just don't know. I don't see the Patriots beating Buffalo, but this will be the game that they do. Again, I picked them 7-9. I'm still sticking with that because I'm sure they'll beat the Jets the last game of the season unless Jacksonville wins, and go from there. Just a down year for New England. It's not what we're used to, but you know what? It kind of humbles us old-time Pats fans to appreciate the moment when you're winning, because it doesn't always last forever.
Yeah, it's actually surprising. So they're predicting Buffalo 58% to win, 58 only, and it's only 7-point favorites. But
I don't understand that. I just don't. Not after seeing our offense the last couple of weeks. We can't generate anything.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, you're right, Allen, 4,000 yards passing, right, compared to Cam at 2,380. But at 30 touchdowns compared and 9 INTs, and Cam's at 5 and 10, right? So, but I mean, Singletary and Harris, running backs, they're pretty similar in yards, but Diggs is the difference maker there. But Diggs, I think, is questionable. So I don't know what's up with him, but he's on the injury report this week, so we'll see what happens if he plays or not. I'm sure he's going to want to be in there, but yeah, Buffalo looks tough. I mean, every week, they look consistent in there. New England somehow hangs around in these games when you think they're not going to win. Somehow they win, and but again, I'm going to say I think Buffalo wins this game. Monday Night Football. I don't see how New England beats Buffalo after what I've seen the last couple of weeks.
I agree. I don't know how he has
2,400, right?
Yeah.
It's double the amount of INTs, though, so that makes sense.
This whole season is just – it's weird because if you remember back, 5 weeks ago, the Bills were kind of sporadic all over the place. Now the Steelers are. You've got teams that are just, you had the Giants on a super hot tear. You had the Patriots on a tear, and, up and down and up and down and up and down. As soon as you think a team has settled in, and I think, Jim, you talked about this, is there's no team that's just like untouchable. You can't touch them. I mean, Kansas City's close, but the Raiders took them down. They gave them a run for their money in the other game they played in. Even the Miami game against the Chiefs, they were close. Yep. There's no team that you're just like it's put away, it's done, forget about it. So how do you even say the Bills? They've won the last couple pretty good, but besides prior to that, San Francisco they beat by 10. The Chargers they beat by 10. They lost to Arizona on that Hail Murray. But that was a close one right down to the very end. I mean, so yeah, they've won pretty convincingly the last couple of weeks, but they caught the Steelers 26-15 when the Steelers started reeling. Denver, they blew out of the water, but it's Denver, right? 48-19. So you kind of that shouldn't even have been a competitive game, and it wasn't. So, and the Patriots, they've lost 24-3, right, against the Rams, and that up and down after winning 45-0, and then they lost 22-12 last week against Miami, who's looked really good. So I can understand why this is, I think, the way it is, because the Patriots are all over the board. The Bills, they were up, they were down, they're back up again. Can they slip back down again very easily? I think so. And you're going into New England, so
we just can't score though, Joe. That's my problem. And Harris is questionable, so you probably see some Sony Michel, because there's questions: is he going to be back next year? I don't know. But my thing is, the Bills are clicking. They're 15, 16 games in with Diggs now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing amazing. And look at Cole Beasley. This is the best year he's ever had as a compliment with him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talk about a 1-2 punch, and Beasley catches everything that's thrown near him. And Diggs and Allen starting to get that rapport going where they are getting hot. They're like Baltimore right now, where they're getting hot at the right time. They're starting to click. And teams that we looked at before, like, the Steelers, the Saints, they're starting to dip off a little bit because it's just a bad time of year for them. And I know Breeze just came back, but still, Buffalo and Baltimore right now look very, very scary. But don't forget the Colts. I mean, I don't get it. I don't. I mean, they get like the number 1 D down there too, and Phillip Rivers has been playing pretty decent. But back to Buffalo, I'll tell you what, it's clicking with Diggs. Their running game hasn't really impressed me that much. I mean, last game they looked pretty damn good, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I like that, Shady. I think that's a great point right there. Is the Bills want to put an exclamation point on the fact that there is a changing in the guard in the AFC East, and this is their opportunity to do it. If they win this game 48-19 like they did against Denver, man, what does that say about the Patriots at this point? You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, you got to be hungry for that, especially if you're Sean McDermott up there. He's gonna, he's gonna want it just as bad. Be like, "What's up, Bill? This is my division now."
Right.
Drop his playbook and I don't know.
I want to see the seedings first before my initial one was Tampa versus Baltimore. I'd like to see the seedings before I give a true. I want to see who's in the playoffs. I want to see the matchups. Because I'll tell you what, if everybody has to go up to Green Bay, I fans or no fans, it's freezing up there this time of year. And Rodgers always plays well at home. So if they end up with the number 1 seed, you got to look out for Green Bay. I mean, Rodgers to me is the MVP of the league right now. He's just making it look too easy, and he throws the ball 30 times to Devontae Adams, and they still can't stop him. And then when they do slow down Aaron Rodgers, Jones runs the shit out of the ball. So got some 3 good tight ends that can all catch in the end zone. Look out for that team. But I'd like to see the seedings first. But I'm still going with Tampa and Baltimore because that's why I went with it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Well, Green Bay's got the Titans.
Yep.
This week, that's
going to be a tough game.
That's going to be a big game if they win that.
They're in Green Bay, though. I believe they're in Green Bay, if I remember right.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're in Green Bay, so I'm sure you'll see a lot of Derrick Henry that game. They're not going to rely on Tannehill to win that game.
And then they finish out with the Bears, which they should be able to handle that one, and they've got a 1-game lead for that number 1 seed. So. The Saints are back with Drew Brees. Seattle is right there. They're both at 10 wins, and then after that, it's nobody. So that's a really good point, man. The Packers in Lambeau, that's a hard place to play. It's cold. And you're going up against Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of like that Bill Belichick effect. You've got to put up points because he sure will. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say that it's not the Chiefs and Packers right now because they hands down look like the best team. But that doesn't change the fact that somebody gets hot, in the playoffs and boom. Oh God!
Yeah, but I mean, they're
going to lose to Jacksonville. Sorry,
that's right. Yeah, it's the surging Bears. But I'm telling you, the Chiefs. I can see the Chiefs getting tripped up because they're too lackadaisical. They just assume we could throw 6-7 touchdowns in a quarter if we need to. And last year they had that habit of falling way behind and then coming back. And if they get into a playoff game and that kind of thing happens and a couple of balls bounce the wrong way, they get knocked out. I mean, as great as they are, they have flaws and have things that they do that can go against them easily.
Yeah.
So it's easy to just assume, the Chiefs will be back in, but could it be Buffalo, right? Yes, I think the Packers make a good case for being in there too. But I think the Chiefs, and maybe it's the hangover, right? Because they had the long season last year, went right to the end, and do they really go back to back? I don't know. I think at times they're their worst enemy because they just sometimes Spagnola's defense all of a sudden is giving up a lot of points, and they're not dialed in. And other days he has the right play called every play, and he shuts them down. So I'd be curious to see how once the playoffs start here. And see who they're playing in each round and how they perform.
What a huge signing that Le'Veon Bell signing is now. You know what I mean? After losing what's his face?
Yeah.
I mean, what a great signing that is because they're going to need a running game in the playoffs. I know it didn't look like they did last year, because of Mahomes running around and going crazy. I just don't know. It's they're going to need a much stronger running game, and I think Bell will use the next couple of weeks to kind of get his legs in and go from there again. I like the Saints too, but is Thomas even going to be healthy, and is Drew Brees back? I don't know.
There's question marks.
I mean, the Saints to me have a better defense than Green Bay. I think they have a better D, but again, who gets that number 1 seed? That's what I want to see because if the Saints have to travel to Green Bay. I think that's a pretty even split game there. I mean, what a great NFC Championship matchup that would be, or even like Brady going up there, to play in Green Bay. He's used to the cold, but again, I think we're in store for a great playoff season, especially with the different teams that have been there. And you're right, somebody's going to trip somebody up. Somebody's going to trip somebody up.
Yeah. No doubt. I don't think the Bucks go far in the playoffs. Yeah. And the Saints have been snake bit the last couple of years, right? I mean, the play with Diggs catching the ball and then a pass interference that's not called, and with Drew not 100% and Thomas, I don't think they have enough. And I think their defense, the Jenkins brothers, right, Malcolm and Janoris, Jackrabbit, they're older. I think they get beat. They take a lot of chances and they get burned a lot. So yeah, I don't know.
I would too. That's why I said it, Shane. I'd love to see Tom up there.
But at least for the Saints right now, they don't have to worry about playing the Vikings. So if they have to play the Vikings in the playoffs, forget it.
Done.
Forget it.
They can't beat them. They can't beat them.
But
have your number.
But I'll tell you, like the outside of the Packers and the Saints, like the Seahawks have shown a lot of vulnerability. Washington, the Rams obviously just lost to the Jets, so they're beatable. The Bucks have been very, very beatable, and the Cardinals up and down like crazy. So that's the NFC. A lot of, like you said, there could be a lot of potential upsets in there, but a lot of teams that you're not comfortable with. And you look at the AFC though, the Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Titans, Browns, Colts, Dolphins is the current playoff seedings. I mean, every one of those teams is solid. I mean, you haven't seen, outside of the Steelers' recent troubles that they're going through, what team in there has shown a lot of weakness?
I would look out for Miami's offense. Out of all of them, I'd say probably Miami's offense, but I think the D will pick them up.
But you've also
Tennessee, their defense is kind of wishy-washy at times as well. They've given up some points.
Yeah, but you got the Ravens right behind the Dolphins too, fighting to get in. So if the Ravens get in at 7 and knock the Dolphins out, do you want to face them?
Nobody wants to see Baltimore in the playoffs. Nobody does. There's no way they want to, especially if they finish the way they played the last 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He sure can, because Brady loves him.
Yeah.
He's picking up steam. That's
he sure
Antonio.
can. Brady absolutely loves Antonio Brown. So he's going to make it work.
Yep.
I mean, Brady's got the weapons. They got the defense. They got the guys. If they could just put it together, and I don't know what's up with Brady. I mean, he misses a lot of balls, even against, what was it, Falcons this week? I mean, he couldn't do anything in the first half. And, of course, the Falcons know game's not over when we're playing Brady. And sure enough, he comes back to beat him with, what, a minute left, 30 seconds, whatever it was?
390 yards and 3 touchdowns.
But all at once. It was like all in the third or fourth quarter.
Was it 2?
2 touchdowns.
I thought it was 3, but okay.
No. Yeah, I'm looking at it right
The one bomb to Antonio.
Yeah.
Right? That's what did it.
Mike Evans. Yeah, I didn't look at that. This was huge stats. I mean, Evans 110 yards, Calvin Ridley. Man, welcome to the NFL. He just said, Julio Jones, I don't need you anymore. 163 yards, 10 receptions.
He's just playing really well for Atlanta as well.
Yeah.
They get the weapons there. That team is just – they need to –
Yeah, so Antonio Brown finished 5 for 93 and 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's coming on. He's getting his sea legs back underneath him, as they say. But and Mike Evans, unfortunately, he didn't have his 2 for 2 touchdown game because that was the best. But yeah, I mean it's weird seeing all of these Patriots fans on here talking about how much they want to see Tampa Bay going far in the playoffs.
I'm always going to love Brady. I mean, he did so much for this town. Now, would I ever want Brady to beat the Patriots in like a Super Bowl or a game? No, not at all.
Yeah.
But if Brady has a chance to win another one, hey, so be it. I mean, I'm not mad he left. I would have left too. But how can you hate Brady? How can you hate him? I mean, he gave us 20 years of 9 Super Bowls. 9 Super Bowls in 20 years. It's never going to happen again. I mean, it never will.
I don't hate him.
I do.
He didn't beat us. He didn't beat us in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
Jim, I secretly hate you
because of this guy. You know?
I want you to meet Tom Brady so he can tell you he hates him. Exactly. Brady versus Rodgers. I think it'd be great.
That would be fun to watch. Even watching the Brady Breeze matchups, the two Brady Breeze. I mean, that's because they're coming to the end of their runs, and to see these kind of guys go up against each other and all these teams, even talking the AFC side, Brady's gone now in New England. Ben looks like he's aging. Phillip Rivers is coming to an end. Yeah, all of these guys for the last 15 years that have been staples. They're all just kind of
NFL. They've been the face of the NFL. Really have.
Yep. So it's interesting. You're not going to get very many of these matchups left. No. You're not going to get to experience the Brady Rodgers, the Breeze, and everybody. It sucks, but I mean, there's great talent coming up behind. That's obviously not gonna. You're not going to miss anything with all these guys coming up behind them.
It's different skill sets too. I mean, these kids that are coming up now, right? They run the ball a lot more. Before the guys were just pocket passers, right, and swing out or whatever, but not like they do now, where they just tuck and run. I mean, it's a whole different ball game now.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow, if Rodgers wins another one, is he the GOAT? No. John, that one's for you, I think.
I mean, I love Aaron Rodgers, but no. I mean, I'm sorry. Tom Brady is, to me, he's at the top. He's been to 9. He's won 6. I mean, you're talking Rodgers wins 2. Not seeing it. I just don't see it. But the comment above, just to let you guys know, Johnny Muck's right. Growing up, we would have laughed at him. And so Danvers State was a mental hospital that closed down a while back. So I want to make sure you guys understood. If you look up Danvers State Hospital, somebody would have been in there if they said, "Hey, John Chaney and Johnny Muck, don't worry, the Patriots are going to go to 9 Super Bowls when you guys are in your 40s," and we would have said, "Get the fuck out of here." So whatever, wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened.
Oh, that's hilarious. I wish I could. I wish I had the Ace Ventura insane asylum pulled up. That would be perfect.
Oh, yeah, 2-14, 1-15. Drafting Irvin Fryer won out of Nebraska that year. I'll still never forget it. It was awful, awful football. And that's why I can't be mad at Brady, man. 20 years, probably some of these kids, my kids don't understand. They've only seen winners like we were talking last show. But, guys like us that have been watching football a long time, you can be jealous of the Patriots, but it can go, just as bad as it was back in the 80s and 90s. We went to a Super Bowl here and there, but it's hit or miss. You have to appreciate this time, kind of like you have to appreciate like Brady versus Breeze, Brady versus Rodgers, Breeze versus, because this is going to be gone, and we're going to be talking Mahomes versus Jackson. Trevor Lawrence, hopefully for the Jaguars versus Patrick Mahomes. Whoever the Patriots get versus somebody, please God help us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
right. It's going to be the Montana versus Aikman conversations and those types of things is what we're rolling into. And it's sad. It's really sad, but
it makes you feel that much older when you see these guys retiring. When talking baseball, when Derek Jeter retired, I thought, come on, wait a minute, how old am I now?
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, these guys, Eli retires and he move on, and it's like, wow.
Right.
Yeah, it's something.
Right. Brady was drafted in 99, 2000?
99.
99.
He was 199th pick.
Yeah, which is the year that I joined the military.
Look at that.
He has outlasted you, Joe.
I'm still going. I'm still going.
Not for much longer, right?
I know. A couple years and I'm done. Yeah.
So I think Brady will still be there in a couple years too. So
I'm going to try now.
Wait a minute.
Oh, should we have a dual retirement?
When he retires, we get him to your retirement ceremony out there in Washington. Shit, I'll go.
Just to rub. Well, of course you would.
Yeah.
He'll just be sitting in the stands throwing his rings at me. Son of a bitch.
I'll tell you what. I'll be out there regardless. How about that? I'll be out there regardless.
Maybe Tampa ends their season in Seattle in 2 years, and then last game of the season, week 17.
Yeah, we could retire together. We'll have a dual retirement. He'll be in his uniform. I'll be in mine, and it'll be fun.
So Travis isn't buying the Jacksonville Lawrence jersey yet?
Look, he's nervous. He's nervous.
Because he knows.
He's nervous too. Trust me.
It's big. It's man. if he turns out to be what he's predicted to be, God, can you imagine drafting Peyton Manning and having that level of talent?
Yeah.
Right.
It's huge, but we'll see.
As long as you get Marvin Harrison there and Reggie Wayne right after him, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. And never draft a defense and never draft an offensive line, and then let it go from there. So, let's see. Marino's goat physically. Joe Cool.
I think Marino was probably one of the greatest passers. That I'll say. If that's kind of what you mean, Joe Montana, huh?
What do you mean, due to rules?
Well, because Brady got the Tuck rule named after. Should have been called the Brady rule, but which now no longer exists. Funny how that worked out, didn't it?
Look, that was Brady's first year. Nobody. I
Nobody ever heard of it.
That call in like 2015. Then you could call it the Brady Tuck rule, but come on, it was his second playoff game, third playoffs, third playoff game.
So speaking of that, what's interesting? If that play goes the other way, that was the Raiders?
Yep.
If that play goes the other way, does he have the same career that Tony Romo did when he fumbled the snap for the kick and never made it again to anything? Never made it to the Super Bowl. Never won a Super Bowl.
I don't know, but Rich Gannon would have won a Super Bowl probably that year because the Raiders were pretty damn good. They were.
Yeah.
Yep. I wonder what his career would have looked like if that call went the other way. Right? Maybe that would have did the same thing that happened to Romo.
It's more of a passing league now. I mean, look at the 4,000-yard passes you got. You know what I mean? That didn't happen when we were younger. It just didn't. No. It was 1,000-yard rushers. That was the big thing, you know.
Right. And now it's like a hybrid of the two. You got 4,000-yard passers and 1,000-yard rushers because it's a quarterback's league. It's an offensive league. That's what we talk about constantly. Is you can't win without these quarterbacks. And if you're not putting up those numbers, the other guy's going to beat you because they are the whole.
Well, it wasn't a billion-dollar business 20 years ago either.
No,
you know what I mean. I agree. Brady doesn't have the years when quarterbacks got killed. I mean, they've been protected, and I think it gets even worse. To be quite honest, I mean, you look now and watching the Chiefs play. Look at the calls Mahomes gets. Those are the calls like Brady and Rodgers and Brees used to get, and now
protect them.
Yeah, and next you're going to see Jackson getting them, but he runs. You know, I think he runs kind of too much for that. So kind of like Cam. Cam never got calls. Remember, I mean, he was a running quarterback.
Yeah, he'd get obliterated.
Yeah, I mean, he got killed sometimes, man. But those pocket passes just sit there. They're going to get protected. They just are because, and again, I mean, Mahomes is the billion-dollar man. So
you can't have
to protect him. They have to.
Yeah, you can't have the faces of an organization or of a league.
Actually, I think Mahomes is the face of the NFL right now.
Yeah. If he goes down,
right, he's the future for sure.
Yeah, everything.
He's just a likable person. Even his commercials are good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I even like his State Farm commercials.
But man, Travis, that comment is absolutely perfect because John, I mean, for 10 years, me and you have had this discussion about Brady, and I have told you every year, like the Jets, but every time we play, like you've got to get pressure on Brady because he does. Sam Darnold got shit for seeing ghosts, but Brady did the same thing. Soon as somebody gets close to him and he gets hit hard a couple times, that ball's out. He's
throwing it right into the ground.
Yeah. Or he just falls. He just goes down himself and just lays there in the fetal position until somebody touches him. He is afraid to get hit, and if you can hit Brady 2 or 3 times really hard in that game, he's just rattled. He's done. That's how you beat him, and nobody's ever been able to do it. That's the problem.
But I got no issue with you falling down. I mean, Eli did that, and that's how he was the iron horse that he was. He didn't take the hit, right? He felt the pressure. He'd just go down, live for another day, throw the ball into the ground, throw the ball out of bounds. And like Peyton did the same thing too. But you can't go in there and take the hits and not slide and go head first and all this. Some of these younger kids, Lamar and Mahomes, and these guys, they take too many chances. The kid from Cincinnati, you got to just duck out of bounds, get out, like we said with Dak Prescott. No reason for him to get hurt and get knocked out for the season. You get out of bounds. So I think with these kids, I mean, they're trying to protect them, but they got to be smart too. I mean, with the playoffs here, you take one shot, you get a concussion, you're out for the game. Your team is now vulnerable, and maybe you're not making it where you should have been a shoo-in to win the game.
Right. Absolutely. And John, the Giants absolutely did that to Brady. That's with
both games. Yeah.
Jason Pierre-Paul and
oh my God, right up the middle.
And everybody just devoured him, and he couldn't set, he couldn't run he couldn't go through his reads, and he was just waiting. You could see the anticipation of him getting hit, and he would just make bad decisions. And you see that in any game he plays, but for some reason, it's hard to get to him. Obviously, Bill has done a great job over the years of scheming that offense to get the ball out of his hands fast. If it's not open downfield, Edelman or Welker or somebody was standing there waiting for the ball, quick. And that was their strength is you've got to get to him.
Randy Moss. I mean, he had players. Yeah. And there was so much pressure on him. He was running for even the last drives. I mean, just blow up right up the middle and sack him back to the 2-yard line. And he had no chance. I mean, and that was the difference in the game.
I hate you.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they're
That's
not.
funny. No. All right, we definitely
And
need to start wrapping her up. But so for this game, I know we've gotten way sideways on this one, but the Patriots Bills. Let's predict this one. Tell me what you're thinking.
I'm going Buffalo. I hate to do it, but and quite honestly, let's keep our draft position too. I'm going Buffalo. We'll say like a 28-21 type game, 28-24 type game, somewhere around there. I think it'll be fairly close.
I don't think it'll be close.
Yes, they will. 3 of them this week. You watch. They're at home.
Will the Pats score a TD again? 31-10? I'm thinking more like that. I think 35, 38 points for Buffalo and New England 13, 14, somewhere in there. I think it's a 20-point spread. I think they easily cover the 7.
Touchdowns. Stidham's coming in and throwing 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You watch.
Yeah, so this kind of goes back to when you look at that, we were talking about the Bills up and down, up and down. So they went through like a 5-game stretch there. They played 4 games pretty solid to come out the gates. They lost to Tennessee 42-16, lost to Kansas City 26-17, beat the Jets 18-10, beat New England 24-21, and then Seattle beat them 44-34. So they kind of went through that stretch there, and then they lost to Arizona, and then they bounced back again. So I think they're back on that high side of things, and I think that 24-21 was more of a fluke in the first game. And I think it's probably, I'd say probably going to be 38-14.
That's what I just said. Rewind the tape and listen to what I just said.
Yeah.
You guys always
All
wrong.
right.
Anyways.
So
You know what's going to happen now? I'll turn the game on. It'll be halftime, 13-0 New England.
New England.
Yeah, that's in the cards. So cool. All right. Yeah, so we'll close it up with that. So we'll definitely be back. Obviously, this is going to be a tough one because we got Monday Night Football for the Patriots. So we'll have we got to come up with a plan for how we want to do this show. But we'll collaborate and get something out. Let you guys know what the plan of attack is to do the recap for the Jets beatdown and Giants beatdown that's about to come.
Yeah,
and we'll go there.
Unless we do a game. So the Jets and Giants are playing 1:00 Sunday, right? So do we do a Jets Giants recap Sunday night, and then do a Pats Tuesday?
A Patriots exclusive.
I'm down for that.
All right.
Wow.
I like it. All right, we could do a quick.
Merry Christmas, Travis. Yep.
Yeah, we'll do a show Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening.
Yeah, we could do that.
And then we'll recap, and we'll see how bad the beatdown is if John shows up or not.
I'll be here, man. I'll be here. I'm not afraid.
He called Buffalo. He's picking Buffalo.
I picked Buffalo. I'm expecting it. So if it ends up 80-0, it's the same as losing 2-0. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in the season, an ugly win is whatever, or an ugly loss is irrelevant now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
Shaney, all we do is talk about their future draft picks. That's all we really do. We don't need to talk about the game.
I mean, Shaney, what if the Jets stun the Browns? We got to do a show.
Yeah. Who would have thought they were going to beat the Rams? So,
Sunday evening,
let's see.
7.
You want to stick with the 6 or
6:30
6:30 time?
Yeah, we can do 6:30.
Okay. We'll keep it same time, same great station.
There you go.
Hit us up.
The Bean Apple station.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest station on YouTube.
Ever.
Yeah. So, all right. So with that, please, everybody on Facebook, if you're watching from Facebook, please go onto YouTube, go to our page on YouTube and subscribe. We need to get our subscriber counts up. We've got 200 and something people that are Facebook fans.
232, I think,
and we have 32 YouTube followers. So please if you're watching this and you haven't done it, just jump on YouTube real quick, look up the Bean Apple, hit that subscribe button, help us start getting those numbers up so our relevance starts going up and we start getting a little more exposure week in and week out to help us grow. So I love having you guys participate and get your questions in, get your thoughts in. It's awesome growing with you guys, but we need to get that exposure on YouTube. So please, 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 if you're on right now, open up a second window, jump onto YouTube, search the Bean Apple, hit that subscribe button.
There you go. Joe, awesome. Work on that.
Graphics.
We'll work on that piece.
Post Christmas special.
There you go.
Not from my side. I hate Christmas. But
what?
Yes.
Look, John doesn't. Look at John's sweater. Come on, he's ready. John's ready.
Here, I want to show you guys something too.
He just knitted this before the show.
Oh.
That's great.
That's awesome. Great. Yeah, the lighting behind me is not just green for the Jets; it's also for the Grinch.
Oh, listen,
Joseph. That's why the Jets will keep doing what they do because you hate Christmas.
Yep. That's got to be it.
Exactly.
Yes. Humbug. No. All right. So with that, it's Bears this weekend. Watch out for it, man. Mike, I think all of Jets Nation is.
It's not happening.
It's the perfect story. It's the perfect story.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen, and I can't wait for it to happen. And Travis, you better show back up next week if it happens, so that we can, because you got to take it if you can. If you can give it, you got to take it.
Oh, you can. Trust me.
I know. So anyway, all right. So with that, please, everybody have a great Christmas. Whether I like it or not doesn't matter. Enjoy time with your family. Stay safe. Hopefully stay warm depending on where you live. Unless you're in Florida, then suck it because the rest of us are freezing. But outside of that, have a great holiday. Best of luck to your teams, whether your team or one of ours or not. Enjoy football. If you're in the championship for fantasy, best of luck. I hope you win it. I know I am planning on winning our league, and we will talk about that next week when that happens. So until then, please be safe. Have a great holiday, and we will see you guys Sunday evening.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.